the founder and the president of the Marketplace Millionaires. Now, before we get excited, he's not only the founder and the president of the Marketplace Millionaires, he's also the founder and the president of Tabernacle of Grace Church, the founder and the president of ABJ Ministry, the founder and the president of ABJ TV. So when it comes to establishing businesses, organizations that last, ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome Apostle Dr. B. Java.
Sit.
We can do better than that. If it were in business, you would be a business mogul. So in terms of the church, can we call him a church mogul? Welcome, Apostle.
Welcome.
And to help us unpack the subject on leaving a legacy, ladies and gentlemen, we are having as our main guest for this evening, a man who usually needs no introduction. He's a real estate mogul. He owns, I'm reliably told, he owns a significant portion of land, not only in Harare, but in Zimbabwe. He's into hospitality industry as well. Some of you might be familiar with the Margolis Resort. And also some of you might be familiar with the Margolis Plaza right in town. And just for your information, did you know, in 1996, if I'm not mistaken, when RGM was wedding Dr. Amai, he actually requested to use his Rolls Royce. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome Mr. Stephen Margolis. And ladies and gentlemen, we also have an honor, and it's quite an honor and a privilege, ma'am, to be having in our midst Madame Nasdeska Cuthbert, I hope I got that correct, who is the ambassador of Nicaragua here in Zimbabwe. Let us celebrate Ambassador Cuthbert. You're welcome, ma'am. So without further ado, let me leave this time to Apostle Dr. B. Java. Over to you, Apostle.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you. And we may all be seated. Thank you all for making it to Marketplace Millionaire. This is number 2 this year. And Marketplace Millionaire has come a long way, as you all know. The main agenda is to equip. Knowledge is power. Lack of knowledge or knowledge deficit is one of the backbones of backwardness, incompetence, and probably the number 1 enemy of success. You empower a person with knowledge, you educate someone, you have significantly alleviated poverty. And the church is not only a place where we gather to pray and prepare for our afterlife, but also a place where people connect, people empower each other, and also a place where we can develop our lives beyond the spiritual. So Jesus, before he left, he said, "Until I come, do business." So today we are privileged because we have a man who had no business to be here, but took a huge sacrifice and drove all the way to our church building at the Grace Center. And as you know, a couple of years ago, we reopened Marketplace Millionaire with Dr. Gono. And I'm sure a lot of people were inspired and a lot started as a result of his immaculate delivery. And all other panelists that have been here, Park Vundemera, Dr. Mnyeza, and our emphatic panelists from within the house. We had Miss Fortunate Gora, we had Miss Patience Stolle, we had our very own Dr. Rhinos Mautsa, and we have Deacon Marvin. And they did a remarkable work, as you remember. But today, I have a few questions to ask. And I am sure I'll leave a pocket for those who have got questions to ask. And we then wrap up and close. Again, Your Excellency, it's an honor and it's a pleasure to have you here. Mr. Magollis, you are a well-accomplished man. You have come a long way. We have been in your building, we have been in your resorts, and today we have a privilege to have you. I want to say, as the Apostle of Tabernacle of Grace Church and the head of Marketplace Millionaire, we are privileged to have you. Thank you very much. You heard his biography. You heard his humongous accomplishments. So when he's speaking from a position of experience. He's not speaking from a layman's position, neither is he speaking from head knowledge. So whatever he is going to say, please, if you are not taking down notes, I know we are live on ABJ TV, and we are also live on YouTube and on Facebook. If you are not taking notes now, re-watch the podcast, take notes, regurgitate, meditate, and implement. Thank you. So, Mr. Magollis, what inspired your journey into entrepreneurship? And can you share a pivotal moment that significantly shaped your path?
Okay. So, I worked for the railways in the 70s in Bulawayo. Used to go to South Africa and Mozambique, taking trains across the borders. So at that time, I couldn't run a formal business, but I went into business. I was in my 20s. I went into business in Bulawayo. I started off by just making clothes and sending them out with some workers to sell. But I was working full-time at the railways. In some cases, we could go for maybe a week before you come back to your work. Of course, those that I left, I think, didn't do a good job, so I went broke. Then I decided to try again. I went into record sales. You know, we used to sell those big records, musical records.
Okay.
So I started selling that. Then it didn't work well. And that time, this is in the 70s, independence was coming. And once independence came, I came back to Harare. I'm born in Morewa, so I'd gone to work in Matabeleland, but I came back here to be closer to home and the capital city. And then I got here, joined some insurance company to sell insurance. And 1981, I went into formal business.
Okay.
I registered my company in February of 1981. And I went into formal business. At that time, there was white people everywhere in business. Blacks were very, very few. And of course, the policy of government had introduced blacks into what we called import and export business, because you would have to get a license to bring in anything here, to get a license from government, giving you an allocation of foreign currency that you could bring. And this happened until 1991 or 92, thereabout, when ASAP came. But there was a buzzword in town, people were getting into business to start importing and what have you. So I was one of those who applied at the time and got my import license and started trading. And then 44 years now in business, I'm where I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
44. Congratulations, 44 years So he's as old in business as Zimbabwe. You know, Zimbabwe is a young country.
Yeah.
We are only turning 45.
Yeah.
So it has not been a quick fly-by-night fix. Thank you so much for just giving us that background. It helps to know that there is always a beginning and the journey starts early. It's not something that started 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It starts early. Now, for the aspiring entrepreneurs in this audience, what advice can you offer to help them build business that stand the test of time?
Yeah, okay. It's a very good question. I think discipline is the key.
Wow.
Whatever you want to do, if there's no discipline, you are not going anywhere. And discipline is in many ways. You get $10, what do you do with it? Are you gonna go and say, today I want to eat cake? You eat cake, tomorrow you don't have $10. Or do you reinvest that money from where it came from? And you continue growing it. Don't worry about the good things. They come, they always come. There's extra money to use for the nice things. But your concentration is on making sure that the business is growing. So keep growing the business. Do not complain about things that you can't change. As you know, there's this thing of saying, things are very difficult, but you are just complaining. What are you doing to make sure those things that are difficult are made easy by you to make you grow in your business? Do you reach the right merchandise? Do you reach the right customer? Or are you just a person who wants to say things must come easy and then tomorrow you close down? So entrepreneurship is not like anything else.
Wow.
It is almost a talent in its own way. It is God-given. You don't go to school for it. It's not true. Yeah. You have to have it in you. It's a gut feeling where you must grow your gut and continue growing. And I'm saying 44 years in business. I'm growing very well right now. I'm not going back. It's impossible. I can't go back. I'm just going forward. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
Discipline. Everyone say discipline. We have to copy that. Discipline. Wow. Discipline. You have to copy that in the back of your mind. You get $10 today. What are you going to do with it? Discipline. And which lead me to the next question. What current trends in business today do you believe are most influential in the marketplace, and how can emerging entrepreneurs leverage these trends to their advantage?
I don't believe in trends.
Okay.
Trends are, I don't know if they really play a role in business. There can be trends in music, in football, in other areas, but business is, as I say, it's like you have to be focused all the time. You don't have to worry about who is making money from doing that or who is not making money from. So people tend to think that there's an area of business that gives you money or makes easy money for you. It's not true. It is you who makes money. It is not the business. You make the money. The business is just a vehicle that you have employed to transport you from one place to another. But it is you with your vision that you want to reach that gives you the money. You can be selling fuel. We're just talking with Dr. Motse just now in the car with his madam when we're talking about how many safe stations are in Harare now. We're just seeing them sprouting up. And there's people making money, lots in that business, and others are closing. So it's not as if there's no money in fuel. It's not as if the money in fuel is coming for free.
Yeah.
It's who is running that fuel business that drives the thing.
Wow. It's not the business that makes money, it's you that makes money. Yeah, because normally in Zimbabwe, someone starts making freezers. Everyone starts making freezers. It happened at my school in Masvingo. I was at a missionary school in the 90s. And the senior master at school started making phrases. And he abbreviated his name, then Kuz as the suffix. And then the deputy headmaster started making his own, abbreviated his name and Kuz. And then the headmaster started making his own, abbreviated and Kuz. And they fought over the market until the matter was taken to our Catholic priest to sit down the head master of the school, the deputy head, and the senior master, because the head was saying from ordinary level to up, I am the one who supplies. You supply the JCs only. So you only sell in these blocks. And the senior master was like, I started the business because they were running into the trend. But guess what happened? Madondo Company, because they had a bus station right by our school gate, they opened a booth for freezes. And then they killed the market for everyone, because everyone at that time thought making freezes was the deal. But I don't believe in trends. And as well, the same business somebody is closing is the same line of business another is opening. And it's not the business that makes money, it's you that makes money. I believe we have entrepreneurs who are hearing and copying this. Thank you so much, Mr. Mugolis. You have depth and you're speaking from a natural resource called you. And as you can see, he is answering impromptu. He didn't even come with a write-up. And today you are learning from the best.
Thank you.
Now, my next question, sir, reflecting on your entrepreneurial journey, what has been the most significant obstacle you have faced, and what strategies did you employ to overcome it?
That's a good one. I think I mentioned earlier on that there were import licenses in the beginning, so we inherited what the previous government was before independence, where they controlled the input and output of foreign currency. So we went into that system. Then in the early 90s, I think it was 1991, where economic structure adjustment program was introduced. Some of you will know about that. That was a crippling program that meant Zimbabwe went down, when we mean down, because there was no foreign currency coming in, there was this. And government had to change its whole strategy of, running the government. So I started into real estate much earlier, as way back as 1983. I was only 2 years in business and I got into real estate. And if anything that I've enjoyed is real estate. I'm still enjoying real estate until now.
Okay.
So 1983, I bought my first property, and I was buying properties all the time. The time, what we call sectional titling of buildings. A lot of white people were living their flats, selling them so that they can go, they were renting them out. So I learned to buy those blocks of flats, sectional title, in other words, subdivide them on paper and sell them. And that time I just bought 2 blocks of flats. If you know the St. Andrews in Mary Park, there are 27 units. Lincoln Court in Avondale. And I bought them through KEBS as an institution. I borrowed money and managed to buy that. I would have sold them very easily. But the minute that structural adjustment program was introduced, banks went dry. There was no money, people couldn't buy. Fortunately, I had properties, like I mentioned earlier on. I had started investing in properties. I had to sell 2 of my buildings. Some of you would have known Magoli's house, Corner Leopold and Albion Road. It's now called Khan House. It was me, I sold it to Khan. And Aroma, I think it's now Bakers Inn, I'm not sure, in Chitungwiza, next to the big factory, Con Textiles. Mm-hmm. I built it and I then sold it to TA Holdings, which is now Maswara. So I had to sell some properties to survive, because I would have been in trouble with the loans that were the built in society. So that was what I would say was a difficult time. But that's that time. I managed to get out of it later on, about 1995, and sold out all my flats. So then from then I never went back to flats in terms of owning them. I just went out of even renting out flats, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so which brings me to my fifth question. What essential advice would you give to a new entrepreneur who is starting his venture or a venture now?
Yeah. So advice, like I said earlier on, it's you. What do you want to do? What's your target? Why you want to compete with someone? It's like a golf course. Compete with yourself. On the golf course, those that play golf, you go there to compete with the golf course. If you beat the golf course, you may win against others. So don't worry about how someone else. I mean, if you look at 44 years ago, we were maybe thousands of people who went into business. And if you ask now to do numbers, like saying, how many of those who started at my time are still alive? I don't even know, maybe less than 100 who are in business in terms of going forward. So it's not a matter of competing with the next person. It's not a matter of copying and trying to excel against someone you are copying from, because that's what happens. Guys think, if I do this, I'll be better than him. No, just do what you can do yourself comfortably. Don't kill yourself to make money. Do it at a pace that's comfortable with you. But my advice is, do not step backwards. Do not mark time on the same spot. Businesses grow. Whether you're growing at 10% or 100%, it doesn't matter. Grow. Just continue growing.
Wow. Wow. Compete with yourself.
Yeah.
Don't compete with the next person. You go to a golf course, you are going there to compete with you. And this is so liberating. And it leads me to my sixth question, saying, how crucial is innovation in your business model? That's the first. And what steps do you take to ensure that your company adapts to evolving market conditions?
Sorry, I didn't pick up your question.
All right. How crucial is innovation?
Innovation.
Yeah, in your business model.
Okay.
And what steps do you take to ensure that your company adapts to the evolving market conditions?
Okay, fine. Innovation, yes. Let me give you an example. So I mentioned after ASAP problems, so I had retail shops, we had to close down. I decided to go into a different world. So I've not gone to school for what I do. I do it naturally. I don't know how I do it, but I just do it.
Wow.
So I'll give you this true story. I employed a guy, he's now in Atlanta, a smart salesman. I said to him, the business we were in, because once the import license was removed, people started crossing to Messina, buying spare parts. We used to sell spare parts and tools. People started crossing across to South Africa, bring in goods or wherever. It was now an open market. And if you had overheads, you couldn't compete with someone who jumps on the bus, crosses and brings the goods and sells to the same customer you are selling to. So I say to this guy, let's do something different. Let's go into the medical world. And we agreed, because the medical world, you don't walk in and just start selling like that. It's a different field altogether. So we went into that and looked at tenders that were being floated. Right now, if you look at the vaccines in Zimbabwe, there are about 13 of them from a company called Serum Institute of India. In India, the biggest vaccine company in the world, I brought them into Zimbabwe and registered them with the Zimbabwean government. They are still coming here.
Wow. Wow.
that company was beginning to do business. I knew there were Italian companies and all sorts of other companies who were bigger. But this Indian guy now is worth 26 billion. His name is Silas Punawala. He's there in thing. We went there. I even took some of the senior government officials to visit the factory, and there were also of other things. But we went into a field that we didn't even know about, and succeeded with getting those products into Zimbabwe, registered, and used to bring them on tender for government. Then we went into maternity sanitary towels. Men may not know this. Now I'm going to say it so as it is. When a woman goes to maternity to give birth, they're not bleeding as usual. They bleed heavily. And there's a special product called maternity sanitary towels. In Zimbabwe, it's going to be a cotton product. And so it was being produced by another company in Harare. And with my guy, we said, look, we want this business. The numbers were phenomenal. We want this business. And we studied it and found out where the raw materials were coming from. And we tendered, and we won the tender. And we started producing maternity sanitary towels. I employed 72 people in 1 week when the orders started coming. We all knew nothing, but we had to produce them now because the orders are coming. We started producing manually with so many people, and then I ended up buying machinery from China to automate. But we went on for 9 years with no competition. We were just so excellent. We struggled in the first year until David Whitehead, if I mention the name, I hope they don't mind me mentioning it, until it went down, because that was the company that used to supply us with the cotton. So we couldn't go on when it couldn't supply us. That's when we also sold our company. We sold the whole company to a listed company in Zimbabwe, and we moved on with other projects in business. So that's what I do. I don't really say what innovation. So that's maybe the answer I'm trying to come to.
I see.
Innovations by who? That's the question. You have to use what is available and make do with the best. A guy comes from Mutoko. He's only done his O-levels. They have no money at home. His mother says, Manangu, if you go to Harare, things are tough. He says, Mom, I have to go. Dad is saying, he's doubting. Why don't you just stay here? Do others are farming. We have sent you to school. We are able to do it, by small agriculture. The young man says, I have to go to Harare. I want to go and make it. So the mind of wanting to make it is what drives people that succeed in business. So he comes, he jumps on the combi with little money in his pocket, gets to Mbaremsika. I think we all know Mbaremsika. Things are happening there. He's offloaded like everybody else in the combi. Comes out, maybe the sun is about 3 o'clock. He scans Mbaremsika to say to himself, I'm here, I've come to Harare, whether I die or live, I have to do something for my success. He walks around. There's combis, there's buses, there's people selling, there's push carts, there's all sorts of things happening there. He waits until it's dark, but he's been looking around, and he sees other people taking, like space to sleep outside the shops, Panama Chipisapai or some kind of stuff. And then he's watching, he sees a gap, he sleeps, buys his Coca-Cola and bun, that's his supper. Tomorrow he gets up, goes around, looks around again. He is targeting what he can do. What is he able to do? Is he able to drive a bus from Mbaremsika, coming from Mutoko? No. Is he able to become a conductor of the bus to go where? Is he able to drive a combi? No. And he focuses on one thing, push cart. He realizes it's so local. I've seen what's around here. If I push this thing, I'll be able to start my life in Harare. So he's looking for a job, going to the people pushing carts, and he says, I'm looking for a job to push cart, not to be a conductor or to drive a bus. And the people say to him, we don't have. Then one old man says, yeah, young man, I wanted to retire. I can introduce you to my boss. You can take my job. The boss then takes the young man, he puts him there. He's pushing, he's focused. He wants to own his own push carts. And the young man is saving money, still sleeping on the pavement, through the normal lifestyle he was doing since he came to Harare. He's doing the same, and he buys his own push cart, he rents it, buys another one, rents it. Until now he has 5 push carts. He decides to leave his job to manage his own. I'm told that guy had tens of push carts at Mbari, beating those that he found working there and those that he worked for. He went ahead and was better than them in the end.
Wow. Wow.
So focusing is the main thing. It's not impossible to do anything in the world. You can do it. But are you focused? Do you have the determination and the guts to get there? That's what it is. If you read the Wright brothers, the book Wright brothers, the guys who invented the flying. I mean, they were just 2 brothers and a sister and a father. The mother had passed on. They were there fixing bicycles, and their imagination said, we must fly. Today we are flying. I flew on a Concorde myself, so from bicycle fixers, now you can fly 2,000 kilometers. So these things are very possible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Focus.
Yeah.
Harvard University was doing a case study on the world top 1%. And they discovered that all trendsetters, all pace setters, innovators, technocrats, the top 1% politics, top 1% business, top 1% religion, top 1% sport, art, culture, every faculty are the ones that actually leads the 99%, be it providing employment, providing vision, fashion, creativity, automobile. The 99% are driven by the 1%. So they investigated what's synonymous within this 1% that drives the whole world. And Harvard University discovered only 2 things. That the world top 1% has one underlying substratum across the divide. These people are highly focused, and these people are very determined. So they said it's not mainly about their IQ or their EQ, but focus. They do one thing in a determined way for a very long time. They don't do 6 months this, then they change. 2 years this, then they change. Just to give you more understanding to what I'm gleaning from our host, our guest today. Focus. So I want us in 3 seconds to all just shout once. Focus. 1, 2, 3. Focus. Thank you. Which leads me to my 7th question, sir. Team building is always key. How a leader succeeds everywhere is predetermined by the team he works with. Your team can drag you, your team can push you. Someone said an organization is only as fast as the slowest member. A department is only as good as their poorest departmental member. You are only as strong as the weakest link within the team you work with. So the team you build, the team you work with in business is very key. So my question is, when building a team, what qualities do you prioritize, number 1? And how do you cultivate a strong company culture that fosters success within the team you build, what qualities do you prioritize?
Thank you very much. I'm not a person who goes for top scholars, people who pass very well in class. Yeah, I prefer the middle people. I think they flexible. You can tell them do that, do that, do that, and they are prepared to do it. So you must look at people who are prepared to do what is to be done.
Wow.
Not people who have a chip on their shoulder and believe that they are smart. So I'm not looking for that. I want people who want to do the work. I'm not looking at qualifications, I'm looking at personalities. Yeah.
Wow.
So if you build a team that's got nice personalities, the right attitude, if you take say the word ATTID, the word attitude, and you give it numbering, like alphabetic numbering. So A is number 1, T is number 20, and it will add up to 100. If you do it now, you can do that exercise. It will give you 100. So I always say 100% of success or failure is attitude. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So with the right attitudes, people become a team because they prepare to mingle. It's not that one will be senior and not senior. It is they've got a goal. But you as the leader must be able to make sure that that goal is clear and that even the structure allows for the command to be understood at certain levels. So I can go for 2 weeks, and this is not a lie. I can go for 2 weeks on a holiday or anything. I might call once or twice to my office. I don't have to be finding out what's happening, how is it going, and I'm sure the structures are in place, things are happening, and they are moving, If they need to call me, they will call me for a question or two. So that's how I operate. Yeah.
Wow. Personality. Personality. Attitude over your IQ. Your personality is more important and your attitude is more important. This is a very, very powerful nugget. And trust you me, it doesn't work only in business. It works everywhere. Loyalty always defeats any level of class. You may be a fancy mathematician, fancy accountant, fancy economist, but personality and attitude. Please, you may forget anything else, but do not forget this. Thank you so much. And which lead me to a question which is almost unrelated, but on financial strategies. What financial strategies have you found most effective for managing business finances, particularly during your early stages?
Well, I'm not scared to borrow money. So that's the easiest thing. Yeah, I'm not scared to borrow money. I started my business on a loan. So yeah, I didn't have money. I was selling insurance, so I had no money, but I just started by borrowing, and I can borrow money. I can tell you right now, people are saying, banks, they don't have money. I've been buying chunks of land recently, and I need to develop it, and I already told my bank manager, not just a few weeks ago, to say, look, I may come back to you in January looking for money if, I need it because of the developments I want to do. And because of my relationship with the bank management, they said, we are waiting for you, when you're ready, just come. So, because I've borrowed and I've paid, I've borrowed, I've paid. So if you borrow and don't pay, no bank will take you. But if you borrow and you pay, you've got money anytime. You may complain of interest rates, but interest rates are part of your business. You can't say you don't want them, You just have to say to yourself, am I making money? Are you going to make money? Instead of crying about the negative, look at the positive. Are you going to make money out of the deal you are making you're borrowing the money for. If you can make money, borrow the money. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Don't be scared of borrowing, but you heard him. It's not only about borrowing, but also the ability to have a good relationship with the lender. A borrower must pay, but don't be scared to borrow. Thank you for that. Now, on networking, business networking, can you discuss the importance of networking in your success story? And what tips do you have for building meaningful professional relationships?
Yeah. So networking, it depends. I got into Zimbabwe National Chambers of Commerce when I was in my young days. Was able to rise to a position of chairman of the International Trade Committee, Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce. And I can tell you that with those kind of things, I was able to travel to Singapore with a delegation. Then I'll mention names, I'm sure the other guy would not mind, but I can mention the names because they are politicians. Most likely we are free to talk about them. Then the industry minister was Dr. Herbert Morelwa, whom you may know. And President Mugabe was coming from a trip in New Zealand, and he was coming to Singapore on a state visit. And we were with the minister, and the minister said the president would like to have someone speak at a convention for business people, which the president was going to address at the Mandarin Hotel in Singapore. And so we were a small delegation of businessmen, and I was elected to be the guy who speaks. So I'm proud to tell you that I was able to speak after President Mugabe and Minister Morelwa had made their speeches. So from that time, that's the trip. I had written a speech with my friends, had it in my pocket, but when President Mugabe spoke, my speech was taken away completely, because what you say, the man has already spoken about Zimbabwe, and you have written to speak about Zimbabwe. So and then the minister speaks. So I just got up and spoke about business and government relations in Zimbabwe. I can surely tell you that when we had dinner, in fact, I got in the motorcade. When we left, I was in the motorcade to lunch with the president, you know.
Wow.
And the dinner, the president actually, in introducing us, he introduced me as a very good Zimbabwean businessman who spoke this morning, introducing me to the Prime Minister of Singapore before our dinner. So he was happy with my speech.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The power of communication, the power to execute a speech, power to speak out. And it's a skill you have to develop. Because some people are very knowledgeable, but they can't engage. They can't initiate conversations depending on the variances of audiences. Because sitting down with heads of states or with our ambassador here is different from sitting down with your bank manager. It's different. Because number one, the languages are different. And the aura is different. An aura of royalty and an aura of success are two different auras. So to be a person who is not intimidated speaking after the former nonagenarian President Mugabe and the Prime Minister of Singapore, you all know the former Prime Minister of Singapore is the indefatigable revolutionalist when it comes to nation building probably of the last century. You may compare him with Deng Xiaoping, China, and other great leaders of the past century who built empires of nations and became economic giants in a matter of decades. Imagine you are in front of such people and you're supposed to speak and deliver. So, iron out, sharpen, dust, sift, polish your ability to communicate. Get an etiquette class. Know basic etiquette, basic ethics, how to mingle, how to fit in, how to engage, and how to build meaningful relationships, both in business, your clientele, the people you target to spread your net to, and people from all various walks of life. And develop yourself deeper. Be able to chair a board, study corporate governance, and deepen yourself, because some of you may be doing something that's making you make a lot of money now. But if you want to go yonder and go deeper than you are learning from the best here. The ability to be into business, but you sit down with the top 1% of global executives, and you are still able to represent your country and deliver a speech that makes your president proud of you enough to introduce you to the Prime Minister of Singapore. Thank you so much, sir. Now, we are getting closer to our end. Now, can you help us as a successful entrepreneur? How do you achieve a work-life balance? And what practices would you recommend to others? Because balance is very hard when you are a highly driven, high-powered, high-value executive like you, but you are also a father and a family man, probably a friend and a colleague, a son, a brother, a sister. How do you navigate into your life balance with all those forces around you?
You know, some years back, again, during my time at ZNC, we had the speaker from England. I'll never forget his words. He says, if your CEO says he's busy, you must fire him. So you must fire your CEO if he's busy. The CEO is not paid for running around. He's paid for planning. So I'm a CEO because I'm an entrepreneur. I run my business. So I don't get paid for running around. I get paid for planning and putting things in place. That's when the team behind takes over and runs. So you don't have to be stranded for time. I've got plenty of time. I go play golf. I can travel around the world for weeks without coming back, like I said, without even phoning. I've already planted my ideas in these guys. So why should I be coming to interfere with ideas that I've already planted in others? Let them prove to me.
Wow.
You know? Yeah.
If your CEO says he's busy, fire him.
Yeah.
Wow, that is key. And I believe your people are learning. But now, coming to your belief system, your faith, in what ways has your faith influenced your entrepreneurial journey? And how do your personal values guide your business decisions?
Okay. My faith, I'm a very good Bible person. I know it very well. I could stand up and preach and might even motivate a lot of you. But I'm not a preacher, I'm not an apostle. So I look at, from the Bible, lots of people. Sometimes we trying to emulate things that we know we can do. But Abraham, for example, that faith of believing in getting to a destination that you don't know, that is the strength that you want. It's not a belief, it's just the faith of saying, I want to do a resort, Stephen Magori's resort, for example, which when I bought that land, it's 300 acres of land that was derelict. People were digging pits for sand. There were squatters everywhere. But I bought it at a very good price because no one wanted to buy it. But in my mind, I was saying, I will create this thing into something that will be unique in Harare South. Today, that place I've got a 75-acre resort. Many of you will probably know it. If you haven't been there, please, I invite you to come. There is everything, zip lines, giant swings, horse riding, boat cruises, we've got dams, music is there, we have a bottle store, a kitchen, butchery. You can do what you want, Just now I've started going into honey production to try and export using, what have you. So the faith is to reach a destination, to be able to have a vision with what you are looking at. See, entrepreneurship is creativity. And creativity is a solution to what is a problem. So if you can find a solution to a problem, you are making money. That's what it is. Or filling in a gap where something is missing. If there's no fuel on the way from here to Blawayo and you put a safe station halfway, you've already made a creative idea. It's not as if you didn't know about fuel, but you've just gone in to fill in a gap of what was not there. So if you look at the resort as an example, that's what I'm saying. Right now, I'm talking about building one conference center in Nyanga. I'm building holiday homes in Nyanga. They are selling very well.
Wow.
Yeah, but how many people think of going to Nyanga? They think, wow, it's Nyanga. I'm making money out of that. I'm working towards a few projects in Nyanga. So there is the faith that people believe. You kneel down, you say to God, God hear me, and God must hear you. You're almost forcing God to hear you, but you don't have anything in you that God must listen to. You see, so you need to have the faith like Jesus Christ, if I may come there. Jesus Christ was a businessman, a true entrepreneur. If you read a book called Corporate Christ, Corporate Christ or Jesus Christ, I've been to Israel 3 times. I've taken tours of everywhere, so I know even how he came down from Nazareth through Capernaum to Galilee and all that, Simon Peter's house, everywhere. So Jesus Christ had a vision that when I go to Galilee, which was the richest area at the time in terms of Israel, if you want to call it, and of course, he knew there were people who were fishing, and he would join them and start from there. He didn't go to Galilee with a bag of money, no. But he knew when he gets there, with the support of the industry, he would start a mission. His mission was he will conquer the nation with his message. And you hear that Jesus was sitting in boats. They were not his boats. He was working with Simon Peter. The father of Simon Peter was there. He remained running the businesses, even though Simon Peter and the other guys were going with Jesus and doing their mission and coming back. In my own vision, I say Jesus had 12 directors that he recruited, which is the 12 disciples. After he recruited 12 disciples, he actually taught them to do what he was doing, which was management. He taught them do this. And then he says, after a year, you are qualified. Go now and expand the company. Yeah. But he didn't stop there. I think it's in Luke chapter 9 and 10.
Yeah.
He recruits another 72 people
Yes.
to expand the company.
Yes.
So it's a business. And people will tell you, oh, Jesus said the poor will inherit. No. It's mistranslated. If Apostle will tell you that Jesus went and stayed at what's the guy in the Zacchaeus' house?
Zacchaeus.
Why didn't he go and stay in the poor man's house? Yeah, why didn't?
Wow.
Yeah. So if you are poor and you are not smart, why must I come and sleep in your house? And someone else is offering me a clean house. So we must have this stuff. Jesus, when he told the guys, I've been into the room where they say the Last Supper room. It's there in Jerusalem. I've been there. You see people, it's an empty hall. People are praying there and so on. But he says, when he sent, I think it was Simon, he says, you see a woman carrying something and follow, and to the house where they are going, the upper room. It wasn't on the floor. We go to the upper room to eat. You understand? So raise your standards and things will fall into place. So, thank you.
Emphatic. And it just killed the wrong notion, especially that Africa carries. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me, number one, to preach the gospel to the poor. Gospel means good news. What good news can anyone bring to poor people?
Yeah.
That there is a way out of your poverty. That is the good news. And he was talking about Zacchaeus. I'd never seen it that way. But it's true. Jesus went to Jericho and went to the richest man's house, Zacchaeus. And he raised Lazarus from the dead. And before he raised Lazarus from the dead, the Bible said, he is that Lazarus whose sister he had perfumed Jesus' feet. And her name was Mary. And again, he lived in the inn of Mary and Martha, the hotel. That's where Jesus used to stay whenever he would go to Jerusalem. And on top of that, all his disciples, he chose them doing something. Fishing, tax collecting, etc., etc. And by the way, 61% of Jesus' parables, they are business parables. 2/3 are all 2/3 of kingdom parables are business related. He knew farming, he knew trade, he knew treasure hunting, and you have just opened people's eyes. Thank you so much for that. So this is the last question. Now, looking forward in your own business, what are your long-term goals for your ventures, and how do you plan to adapt to the future landscape of entrepreneurship?
Okay, so I don't have long-term vision. I have what we call now and here. See, now and here. The opportunity is there, seize it. You don't need to... Long-term is procrastination. Every time you're looking at long-term, you are forgetting that you are losing time and you are not getting younger. So now and here. I've just told you I bought in October alone 2 pieces of land in Nyanga. It's now and here. I wasn't planning it 3 months ago, but I've already got them, and I'm already looking at getting them ready for sale on next year. So long term would be too far. So it's now and here for me.
Now and here. Put hands together for our great speaker of the day, Mr. Magolis. Ladies and gentlemen, we heard from our mouth. I believe you didn't cherry pick, but you gleaned everything from what he said. He expressed his mind. He expressed how he functions. And I'm sure through Dr. Mautsa, you will get to know much more about their real estate ventures. You desire a holiday house. Here is the opportunity to ask questions and to get involved into acquiring your holiday house. Or someone desires to get me a holiday house.
Plenty.
is here. So
Including in Harare, if you want to buy houses, I've got, including land in Harare. Karikre, one of the top land pieces in Zimbabwe, is available. I've got 18 stands, you can buy them all.
great. Wow. So your website, your online details, how do people contact you and how do people access to your real estate company?
So, Stephen Magolis Resort, go on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok or Facebook, you'll find us there. And it will spread you to our properties and resort and other businesses we have. Yeah. So just Stephen Magolis Resort.
Stephen Magolis Resort.
Go to our TikToks, and so you'll find our details there.
Thank you so much. All our viewers, ABJ TV, ABJ Facebook, you have heard from one of the best and greatest real estate entrepreneurs in this country. And as you heard from his journey, he's diversified. He's not a linear person who has only been into one line of business, but a mind that can adapt, a mind that can stretch, a mind that can spot opportunity, leverage on opportunity, and with the simple nuggets he unveiled today, I'm sure somebody got help and someone got motivation and someone has a lot to learn from. And if you focus and if you spread your mind to not only being an opportunistic trend chaser, but someone who is really determined to compete with you and to be focused and to be someone who knows how to network, how to communicate well, how to build a business team, not only based on high IQ, straight A students only, but people who knows what needs to be known in the basic norm, but are very loyal, very practical, very obedient, and very pragmatic. People will not drag you in boardrooms with a lot of vocabulary, but with very, very little deliverables. Or people won't twist and stretch your vision in bringing side visions or divisions in your own vision, but people who may not be professors or PhDs in their line of work, but they definitely know how to build experience through serving well and through being a good teamwork. We learned a lot today. Please rewatch the podcast, write notes, and also you have a go-to who can help you to have, in a most integral way, a way to access property, buy property, and also learn much more. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to our Marketplace Millionaire, and thank you, Mr. Magolis. It was a pleasure to meet you. We may all stand up. As I leave, I will call the MCs to collect offerings. As you remember, this was supposed to be a service, but the service went beyond being an ordinary service into something that's so impactful and helpful today. So don't leave without giving your offerings, but as of now, we will allow Your Excellency and Dr. Magolis to accompany me as we go to the green room. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hallelujah. Let's give a round of applause to our panelists. You can give a better round of applause. You know, such depth, such substance in wisdom is so amazing and rare. You know, to listen from a man of such gravitas, you would have paid a lot of money, but you have just been privileged to get information that's life-changing. A round of applause again to appreciate the man. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we close, I want you to realize that in your financial journey, if your end game or your dream is about your personal needs, then your dream is too small. In pursuing financial liberty and financial increase, let's always focus on a higher purpose. Where I am saying that I want to make money that's beyond me. Money to make an impact in the kingdom of God. Money to make an impact in society. And lastly, as I tell you this, business people are givers. You cannot be a business person without being a giver. Why? Because when you are to be paid, you have to give a product, you have to give a service. When you want money without giving, you are becoming a fraudster. So now you have an opportunity to demonstrate that you are an aspiring business person, you are engaging the character and the principles of business by being a giver. Right now, bring your best to the offering basket. As I'm always saying that your giving should not be a reflection of where you are, but it should be a projection of where you are going. Business people are givers. For you to be paid, give a product, give a service. In the house of God, give your offering. So right now, as the technical team is giving us a song, can we come and give our offerings? God bless you.